Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Grandaddy Files. My name is Clayton, the Catalyst 41 on the THP Forum. We have my co-host here with me, Kev, and we have a special guest from Callaway Golf, Mr. Jason Finley. Some of you guys know him as Darth Finley around the forum, but he is the director of the global director of brand management for the golf ball division at Callaway, and a true Truvis collector, maybe even the Truvis collector. There's rumors out there that there's another Callaway employee that may have a more impressive collection, but not sure how true that is. So
I don't know who those rumors would be, but unless it's someone working in the offices where they're made in Chicopee, I'd take my chances.
I hear that.
But I usually would say that about just about anything.
Yep. So we've got some, I'm pretty sure we've got some THPers that have been conniving for a few years to try and sneak into your office. None successful thus far. So for now, I think you're safe.
Well, I don't think I'm ever safe, but I like my chances.
It sounds like your own coworkers sneak in and steal from you.
They do.
Listening to the ship show.
I keep some pretty good inventory here, and if I'm out for a few days, I definitely need to reload my inventory when I get back.
Well, that's what I hear. Well, awesome, man. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do have a lot of questions for you and want to maximize our time with you. Definitely appreciate you taking out time to spend time with us, answering a few questions for the forum, and building up some hype for the greatest golf event on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, man. Well,
I appreciate what you guys are doing. That's what I said to you from the beginning on this. And I think, for me, it's obviously a topic I love talking about. So I couldn't be more excited to spend a little time talking about it. And honestly, this is about the time of year where we get kind of more full gear mode into it. Up until now, it's a little bit of, it'll cross my mind every once in a while, and we'll think about it and have a few conversations about it. But for the next couple months, it's between launching products to our team kind of internally and getting ready to launch them, and the Grandaddy, that becomes a big part of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna bounce things over to Kev because I know he's got some questions for you.
Yeah, you're starting to ramp up with it. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of it? How did it start? What was the original mission of the Grandaddy? How's that gone over the years?
How did it start was really, it was going back early on in Harry's days, I would say, here. And I'm pretty sure it was a conversation we had at the PGA show, and Harry and JB had talked about wanting to do this, I'll call it a grandiose event. And Harry called me from kind of outside the main exhibition room there in one of the little crappy cafes that they have, and said, hey, can you come out and talk to JB and I for a little while? So I did, and he knew that, I could probably put together a pretty cool event, so he wanted my help on it. And really the mission and the goal from that moment forward hasn't really changed, which was to create, the event in April in Augusta, Georgia may have been referenced, right? Once or twice. I won't use that word to compare it, but really to create that for the regular everyday person, and what would that be, and how could we do that, and where would that be, and how would we do that? Harry knew that I had been fortunate enough to be a part of some cool things that I could probably get us going, and with kind of working with him on putting it all together, I would say we've done a very good job at that mission and kind of accomplished that multiple times over. And, hopefully we'll continue to get it better year over year.
Well, yeah, I definitely think the forum tracks along really well with how well things have been progressing over the years. Every year it's a little bit different. But it's awesome nonetheless. So I do have a question for you though, a follow-up question to that.
Yep.
You mentioned Harry. What has he meant really to the Grandaddy? Obviously, he's meant a lot to Callaway Golf, and he's going to be making his exit here pretty shortly. Kev and I were fortunate to be able to come to, the desert when he was there, present and in full effect. So I hate that the team's not going to get to experience that this year, but kind of speak to a little bit of what he's meant to this event specifically.
Well, I think what he's meant to this event specifically is similar to what I would say he's meant to us as a team and us as a company, right? Which is a ton. And his fingerprints, whether he's physically there in the desert in person this year or not, will be felt, right? So the legacy of Harry Arnett isn't going to end the second he walks out the door. Right. And I've said this to a lot of people of, it's as much a really strong compliment as some people may take this the wrong way, but right. I love Harry. I love everything that Harry's done for me personally and for our team and this company. But if he all has done all the things for us that I just said that he has, then we're going to be just fine without Harry Arnett at the same time of everything that he has taught us and inspired us to do and been a part of and trained us and blah, 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 blah. That should all live on, and that should all be a part of what we do every single day for this event or for this company or for this department or whatever the case may be. So I think, he may not be there physically and in person, but his legacy should be a part of what we do probably for a long time. And that won't change, I don't think.
I agree.
You got that foundation built up now.
Yeah, I mean, for some of us, I was here day one with Harry, right? I went to dinner with Harry before Harry even started here. So, I've been a part of it with him. So it's not like anything that happened over the last 7 years in my mind is going away, right? Those are, it's just like anything, right? The principles of your parents and everything else, they're going to be a part of what we do for a long, long time. And that won't change. And, there may be different people involved. There may be, slightly different ways we go about things. Clearly there'll be one person different on the Callaway Grandaddy team this year. I don't know who that'll be yet. But that'll be, I would say that would be the strongest way you'll be able to tell the difference with the Grandaddy of this year versus Grandaddies of years past.
So with that in mind, does that give the team THP an opening this year to bring that belt back this way?
No, I think if you looked over time, Harry wouldn't have been our top point getter. and frankly, I wouldn't be either. I don't think. The only reason he and I would have a chance to be our top point getters would be because we've been a part of every single one.
Sure.
So let me ask this then. So I know there's a lot of excitement on our end on the THP side, just the contest and trying to get in, year over year. What is that like from the marketing group? Because you guys have had some pretty staple guys every year,
Yep.
And then there's some rotation. So what is it like? Is there a celebrity death match on the Zoo Crew side, or how?
No, not at all. So this will be a way that is different. And I don't know. Your next question would be, so who does that become? I don't know the answer to that, but in the past, it's been pretty much down to one person who's determining who our team is. I'll kind of provide some guidance and make him make the decision in the past. But that was Harry. So I don't know exactly how that'll work this year, but I would guess in general, it's going to be pretty similar to what it's been in the past. And there's been some fluctuation based on, Scott didn't play one year because he was having a kid, and, Newbarth was out of town one year. We had a shoot one year, so things happen, and this isn't the only thing that we have going, unfortunately. So, a little bit will depend on that, but for the most part, it's the leadership team of the marketing team and those that interact the most with consumers or people on the forum.
To me, it sounds like it's an opportunity for you to start making requests to some people that really want to get on the team. Maybe you need some extra coffee. Somebody needs to go get you down the road.
Well, my latest problem is we got the office here from some friends of ours, a cold brew kegerator. That
Nice.
I would say that I was the contact or the conduit to get it to the office. I don't even drink it, but we have definitely created some monsters, and it is out right now. And I have never heard a group of grown men cry and bitch as much as they have been because they don't have cold brew right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So now I'm taking it the other way. So I could switch that up a little bit.
Sweet.
Nice. So, okay. So one thing that I've talked about is, I mean, when we're out there that whole week, you guys are dedicated to us. You know, I mean, you guys still have your full-time job going on, but
Yep.
You're out there with 12 doofuses from the internet that and giving your full attention to us. I mean, how do you guys juggle that for that week? And you just talk about that a little bit? Because I mean, the releases are coming up like a month after the event is over.
Yeah. And if you remember back to last year, right, I think 3 days after you guys left, we were hosting a group for our epic launch event. So
don't just for another few days. I wouldn't have minded, man.
Don't think that there wasn't some planning happening there. You know, it's not easy. I'd be lying to you if I said that it was, but it's, you know, we kind of get used to it. We're a part of so many events like that, whether it's customers or sales meetings or, you know, the normal regular travel that a lot of us do a lot of all the time. And we get used to it, I would say. And I think it's just, you know, that time of year in particular is a little hot and heavy for us. And, you know, especially now that we've done this so many times, I think it becomes a little bit of second nature of just finding ways to deal with it, you know, and everybody's got personal stuff going on. And unfortunately for me, there's always something that coincides with Grandaddy Week that I've managed to maintain getting to have another one of every year, which is quite surprising.
How much money have you spent on jewelry?
Not much, luckily. And this year's number 20. So, and it falls squarely on a day that we're going to be gone. So, you know, I'm probably in a little bit of trouble, but that's part of life, right? I mean, it's part of what we get paid to do. It's our job, right? And that's part of it. And look, this is as painful as it is, it's still a pretty cool thing to get to do. And I say to people every single day that my job is not easy a lot of times, but the coolest part for me is I get to be involved in something that I'm super passionate about. And if I had to go do the same exact job and it was for something that, you know, for instance, a toilet paper company that I don't have a lot of passion for, thank goodness I don't have passion for toilet paper, I would be a really miserable human being. Yeah. All right. So, you know, the fact that, we do have jobs to do around this, but, you know, we say this, it's really cool for you guys, but it's cool for us to get to do every year too. So we make it work.
I think that's interesting. I think there's a lot of people on the forum who didn't know you weren't just juggling work. You're kind of juggling a very special personal day as well. So I know for me, when the Odyssey event came around, it fell like literally smack dab in the middle of our anniversary. And considering the year we had, I just wasn't willing to take the gamble, man.
Yeah. No, and trust me, and it comes down to a little bit of, well, aren't you the one that kind of sets this all up and picks the dates too? Kind of, yes. Right. So unfortunately, she's keen on that whole part of it too. So, but there's a lot of reasons why we do it the week we do it. So it is what it is.
Awesome.
There's 364 other days of the year we can celebrate it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, I mean, obviously the Granddaddy's been going on for quite some time now. Why has it lasted so long? I mean, I can't remember if I was talking to you or if I was talking to Newbarth about it, but you guys, in all reality, will never completely get the return on investment that you put into this. What's the reason that it's gone on for so long and that you keep doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if a shareholder would be entirely excited to hear about this, but not everything we do, we will have a direct ROI to what it is, right? And I mean, frankly, if we put an ad in a golf magazine, we don't really know what the ROI of that is either. I think we love the event. We think that it does an incredible job of showcasing us as a brand in many ways. First, it allows us to kind of showcase our product, usually new product coming out, right? And create and build some excitement and buzz and all those things that obviously we're trying to do every single day as part of our jobs, not hiding that. It hopefully will create some brand ambassadors for us, those that will kind of, support us. And that's not to say that we expect every single Grandaddy alum to play 14 Callaway clubs and a ball for the rest of their lives. That'd be great. But, we also know that people are golfers and there's other stuff out there, right? So we know that. I think, our desire would be with any Grandaddy alum, we would maybe get a disproportionate chance to have a spot in the bag. Be crazy not to hope that. And I think it speaks a lot to what we are as a group of people, being the Zoo Crew and as part of Callaway Golf in total, of kind of very approachable, being, we're golfers, right? And we want to do cool stuff like this. And we want to give people the opportunity to do cool things like this. And just like, the mission of the event from the beginning, of really create one of the coolest golf experiences that you can find anywhere on planet Earth. Having Callaway being a part of that, we think is important. And we think that will continue to be important. Will it exist the same way forever? Probably not. Will it stop this year? I doubt it. Will it be the same next year? Our goal every year is to make something somehow, some way different and better, hopefully. It's not always the case. We always make some mistakes along the way, right? Sauce it and send it, as an example. But these things happen, right? And, but that's a minor blip on the radar to the total Grandaddy experience, other than a good laugh. Nobody really cared that the food one night sucked, right? Who cares? We had plenty to eat the rest of the time. So I was puking my brains out the whole next day. So clearly, didn't bother me. But
I know one guy in particular who was absolutely fascinated with the amount of meat they brought out. He loved it the whole time.
Yeah.
Curtis can he can inhale meat. So for him, it was awesome.
Yeah. And for someone that was not feeling well sitting there for that dinner, that was not very good to see it keep coming out. But, I think, to I guess, answer your question, there's no reason for us not to do it, because we think it's a great thing, and we'll, do it for as long as we can, as well as we can.
Awesome. So I've got a question. I want to shift gears a little bit. So part of the Grandaddy is the equipment, right? You talked a little bit about that, the releases that are coming out that year. And with you being over the ball division, I know a couple of weeks ago you alluded to some new innovations that are coming down the pipeline. Is there anything you can share with the group? Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit.
What'd I say?
You said something in the thread. I think it was in response to what we would probably call where everybody.
Oh, some balls that have been showed up cut in half.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that have maybe been found and cut.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always are working on stuff, and I'm not gonna talk about what they are. Time will come for that, but I think you guys saw it firsthand, but we spend a lot of money, and we have a lot of really, really smart people.
Yep.
Not including myself in that, working on future new products every single day. That's what they do. And that in itself is a huge competitive advantage for us every single day. And there's not many companies that can say that ever. And so that allows us to come up with some really cool new things. And, then the next challenge to that is finding ways to make those things over and over and over again. And in the case of golf balls, millions of them, right? So that's a big part of it too. And that comes in for me in golf ball in Chicopee. And we're going through massive change there. Scott Gorel was there 2 weeks ago, having been there 6 months ago before that, and was like, oh my God, it's totally different there than it was 6 months ago. And in 3 months when we're there, it's going to look totally different than it does right now. So stuff changes all the time. And the stuff that, we get a chance to see, and the data and the numbers as we work through what the next products are, that's what's exciting, right? That gets me excited to come to work every day. It gets me excited to know that, coming up here pretty quick in the next 6 months, I'm going to be talking about these cool, exciting new products and these great new technologies that are going to get people excited, right? And knowing that I'm going to have 12, I forget how you described them earlier. I won't come up with my own nickname. 12 of our friends from the internet that I'm going to get to talk about and get really passionate about it for a couple of days. Like, that's awesome, right? And I'm going to get to go around the country in the first quarter of next year talking about that, showing that off, having people try it, right? That's the stuff that matters to us, and to have the people that work on that stuff every day is incredible.
I'll tell you what, I think the feedback from our team on Triple Track has been pretty impressive so far. It's changed my putting from 10 feet and in. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, mine too, which I didn't think it would, and I didn't think I was going to be a Triple Track guy, and but it's all I use now.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's amazing how the difference between just a single line, those 3 lines on there.
Yeah. I went back and spent a little time with the doctor that was a part of it, right? And it was funny. We filmed a video earlier this year back in St. Louis. So the doctor that was a part of it is a professor at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. So UMSL, UMSL. And we went back to film it. And part of what we did was film his class. And he knew we would be doing that. So he did a whole lecture on the science behind what Triple Track was to his class. So to an actual class. And one of the funniest moments I ever remember at Callaway was Alan Hocknell, who runs R&D, was with us. He was sitting next to me, and he pulled out his little he has note paper with his graph paper is his note paper. And he was sitting there throughout the lecture taking notes during this class of the professor that introduced, the idea of vernier acuity into Triple Track. And it was so cool to see that. And then, obviously we went on film throughout the day, but to sit there, in part of a class and going back in time almost for us, especially next to a guy that has a PhD in biomechanics or whatever it is, it was crazy to see that. But there is science behind it, and it actually does work. And to hear a little bit more of that and other examples of it, it works for sure. And we're excited about what it's going to mean for us as a company going forward. A lot of opportunity with it.
Awesome.
Take that for what you will.
Yeah, I think it's actually hard to go away from once you start with it. For me, there's sometimes where I'm on maybe a side hill lie or something like that, and you're a little bit nervous. But I've just learned if you trust the lines, man, they typically will take you there. So it's fun stuff. Yeah,
I think the only risk to them is getting too over analytical.
Right.
I'll use as I tend to pick on people, I'll pick on D Nevs a little bit, right? Who's got his aim point going. He's got 82 other things happening going on in his brain. If he starts, fidgeting with the triple track lines 800 times before he hits a putt, that could be too much, right? I use it more as a general guideline. Right. But even, if I get over a putt and I notice that they're off, it's very easy for me to tell. So I at least know, okay, those are aimed left. Like you need to be cognizant of that. I won't go down and change it. Part of that's laziness, but part of that's just the way I want to get in and get done too.
Right. That's the exact same way I do it. It's a general lineup, and then if I need to adjust from there, I'm not going to readjust. I'm just going to do it on the fly.
Yeah, figure it out. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Clayton, do you want to ask him some questions from the captain?
Yeah, so I'm going to read these because these are very specific. So some questions from Captain McLovin. Oh, man, this is funny. So
he's from Hawaii, is that right? Where's he from?
He's from Florida.
Oh, close.
Yeah. The other coast, but.
Yeah, couldn't get much farther away.
All right, so let's see. Captain's questions. Bigger disappointment, losing the belt in 2016 or missing singles match last year?
I would say missing the singles match last year. I love winning more than anybody on planet Earth. But the excitement and the energy and frankly, even how it happened that year, I think that was great. And I think it was actually better for the event if the team THP won one time, because if it's not as fun if you think it's never possible, right? I mean, the Ryder Cup is a way better event now because Europe actually, Europe's kicking our butt now, right? But I was kind of getting into it at the end of kind of the U.S. run there, where the U.S. won every single year. It's like the U.S. in basketball. It's not all that fun to watch, right? So I thought that was awesome that you guys won, as much as I didn't want you to, right? And I was talking the whole way, and I'll still give my man AJ some grief for losing it all for us because he choked like a chicken. But it was awesome to see that team win that year, and just the energy and kind of how excited everybody was, and frankly even how it happened, versus a couple of years ago where singles matches didn't even matter. That's not that much. That's not great for the event, So and frankly, it should never happen, right? I don't care how bad things are, right? It shouldn't even happen. So I just love the competition, right? So missing that for me was a big deal.
Awesome.
And you all saw on the bus ride on the way home how bad I was to get me to miss that. And I had it in my head that I was going to play that day.
I can honestly say I can't remember the last time I felt that bad for a human being. Like that was a rough.
I felt bad for myself. Yeah, a windy bus ride with a bathroom like barely bigger than me was not ideal.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you riding around on the course for, I don't know how long you were out there, but it looked like a corpse riding around out there. It's like Weekend at Bernie's, except you were driving the cart.
Yeah, it was more, I needed a break from the locker room. and laying in one of the chairs that they had in the locker room there, and seeing the older gentlemen walk through there, I'll just say in the state that they were walking through there, I needed to take a break from that. And if that required I had to go see a bunch of our team and internet golfers fully clothed out on the golf course, that was a better alternative for me at that time.
I'm sure that those views didn't help your stomach settle. So
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Then McLovin was wondering, was it food related or were you just sick?
I was sick.
Okay.
It was not the head covers, just for the record. The iron head covers.
Well, that's enough to drive any man sick. And I understand that he is part of an event here coming up in the next, within the next month that I am a part of. So I hope that my man has learned his lesson.
I can assure you.
Because there is a large body of water very near the golf course that we are playing. And while I am not normally one to pollute, that place will inherit however many iron covers he has in his bag. And that is a threat and a promise.
I don't know, when it comes
from you, bring those iron covers, they will find their way into Lake Coeur d'Alene.
Coming from you, it's more of a promise, it seems like.
Yeah. I think it's very believable that I will definitely do it.
I just don't. I'm pretty confident they're going to be there. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I'm pretty confident they're going to end up in Lake Coeur d'Alene then. I was just there last week. It's a very large lake.
Oh, that's fantastic.
All right, so back to the competition. Quick question for you: what brings out the 8-6 Finley? Like, what gets you going?
Just competition. I mean, that's me. Honestly, I've always been like super competitive. I'm the guy that I go to my kids' basketball games and I want my kids to win. I had a lady yell at me at my kids' totally unintentionally the other day, yell at me at my kids' basketball games. I'm just a competitive person, and I enjoy the heck out of competing. It's a little bit at this point, I think, of a little bit of a perception within the forum. I'm not as bad as I think my reputation is.
Hey, don't let that get out. Don't let that get out.
But I mean, even around the office, right? I like to have fun. I like to have a good time, and for me, that comes about a lot of times in banter, and I have a lot more opportunity to banter if I'm winning, and I know that. But guess what? If I'm losing, I'm still talking. And I even say to people that I don't. Somebody will say we've got 2-3 groups, and we'll go play one day, and somebody that's not in my group are like, oh, let's play 5, 5, and 5, and like, if I'm not in your group, I'm not really that interested in doing it, because,
right.
And even the one THP event I did where I played kind of against everybody, it sucked, because I think a big part of it is just being like in the group, and that's part of the experience for me. And, I think that's one of the cool things about the Grandaddy is you end up with, it's just the way it works out is you're not going to play with everybody. And so everybody's going to have moments with different people, whether it's hitting a certain wedge so great one time and you get so angry about it that you remember it, right? And it's something you talk about and laugh about, or just an 8-6 or whatever the case may be, right? Or you randomly end up playing one guy in all your matches, Texas Hacker, right? I mean, part of that is completely random going back to the first year. And the poor bugger took the brunt of it. But I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, Kev, we played, right? I like to have a good time, right? But I don't, even when I'm losing, I'm still going, and there's no quit. There is no quit.
I heard you hate Kev's wedge too. I think he had a wedge that almost didn't make it home.
Oh yeah. No, his PM wedge was definitely under my skin.
You know what's funny? I had a shot very similar to that today, and I put it within 2 feet. Love that club.
Yeah.
But
Unbelievable.
I saw Darth Finley come out because I decided to chatter a little bit on the 17th hole.
Oh yeah.
And of course, you're approaching to 18. You threw a dart to about 1.5 feet for a tap-in birdie.
Yeah. In the rain.
In the rain.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can see it. I can see Darth coming out right now. Like
Yeah.
that's
It came. It came. I was not losing that match. Not a chance.
awesome, man.
Not a chance. And